You're dealing with someone that there is a problem going on. Excuse me. There's a problem going on between the two of you, and there's tension that is there. Whenever you two are around each other, because of how intense the tension is between you two, it's very thick tension. It's like this giant elephant is in the room. And the tension is coming within your own energies about how you feel about each other, how you feel about the situation. And the energies gets when those energies collide, it gets very chaotic. Okay? Because the problems that have been existing between the two of you have not been resolved. Because you have been the one that has been doing the healing work. You have been recognizing your wrongs and your faults. They have not. They do not feel like they have done anything wrong. They don't see that they were wrong in any way, shape, or form in this situation. And that right there is causing a blockage, firstly, within themselves, because they refuse to move past this barrier, move past this burden. It's like a burden in a way, because they refuse to look at themselves and see that they have done something wrong. So they are unable to move forward in their own life past this whole situation. Because the relationships with other people is not always guaranteed that it's going to be repaired. But the evolution that you have on yourself, the personal growth that you have, comes from recognizing your faults and your mistakes. And if a person is not recognizing that, then they are not evolving as a person. They have not gone through this personal growth. But you have. Because even though the relationship has not been repaired, you have grown within yourself because you have recognized your faults and you have accepted them and you have grown past them. 222 in my timestamp. They also are creating a hindrance in this relationship between the two of you from moving forward and moving past this barrier, this burden, and from being repaired, because they refuse to acknowledge the hurt that they have caused you. And you are the type of person where you're like, if you cannot acknowledge the hurt that you have caused me, if you don't think you've done anything wrong, then I can't move forward and build a relationship with you, because that needs to happen first. And if that is not going to happen, I'm sorry, that's a deal breaker for me. Sorry, not sorry. I'll meet you where you're at. So because they feel that there is some tension between the two of you and there's this chaotic energy that exists within you two, because whenever you all's energy collides, it creates chaos. Okay, and it can lash itself out and manifest in other ways. And sometimes when this happens, other people, innocent people, get caught in the crossfire and they end up getting hurt and getting burned because of the tension that's happening between you two. It's like, imagine two people having a fight and they're throwing fires at each other, like, wands of fire, and there are other people walking past, and because of the wands that these two are throwing at each other, when people walk past, someone else can get hit by it. They're innocent people, they're not involved in this, but because they're around and they're walking through, they're passing through, they're getting hurt and they're getting hit. So now you're seeing the importance of, maybe I should keep my distance for a while so that innocent people will not be affected. Because if we're going to be constantly throwing fires at each other, throwing daggers, I don't want innocent people getting hurt because of our issue. We have to resolve our issue in a different way. But what's happening is that because this person refuses to acknowledge that they themselves are adding fuel to this fire, because it's like they're igniting the fire but trying to act like they're not igniting it. It's like they're holding a match to the fire and they're saying, no, I'm not doing that. And it's like, baby, I see the proof right there. The proof is in the pudding. It's in your fucking hand. Don't play with me. It's because this person is so full of pride that they don't even want to admit something that they have full present proof of. This person lacks in emotional maturity because they are unable to look at themselves in the mirror and recognize that they have done something wrong. They feel so entitled and so grandiose to just treat people any old kind of way because of how high and mighty they feel. Like they just have such this haughty energy to them. They feel like everything everyone else does is wrong, but if they do the same thing or do something worse, then it's okay. They're used to people kind of like letting them bypass, used to people kind of kissing their ass after they were just being disrespectful to them. But you are different. You're not going to kiss nobody's ass. I was just disrespecting you. Okay? And this person does not like that they cannot control you. They do not like the fact that you have a mind of your own and you take your power back and you don't allow someone to play mind games with you, manipulate you, deceive you, and control you because you have such a strong mind of your own. And they envy that. They wish that they had that mindset that you have, because the only way that they get power is to overpower someone else. And in any way possible, they are trying to spin this around and blame it all on you and make you solely responsible for the destruction that was caused within the relationship between you two. But let's be freaking for real. It takes two to tango, and that you do hold some responsibility in how things went down, and you know that. However, they also have done things as well. They were the main culprit. They were the ones that did things to you, and a lot of yours was a reaction to what they have done. Now, your reactions at times could have been different. You could have handled it in a better manner, but you did the best that you could at the time, right? However, had you not been provoked in such a way, with the mindset that you were in at the time, you wouldn't have reacted that way. So this person is not looking at what they have done. They're just looking at your reaction and your response, because they were expecting a certain type of reaction and response from you that they hope to get in their head so that they can continue their agenda, because they just wanted to have control over you. So when the reaction they were hoping to get based off of their action, when they didn't get the reaction based off of their action, they felt that they were not in control anymore. So they felt that they weren't in control of you. They didn't feel they did not feel shit. They had control over the situation. So because they felt a lack of control, control to them equals power. So they felt less powerful. They felt disempowered instead of feeling empowered, because in order for them to feel power, they have to seek it externally. They have to take it away from somebody else. They have to minimize someone else's power, shrink someone else down to make themselves feel bigger, because they don't have that internal power from within like you do. It was basically a battle of power here. They were trying to force so much power over you, but because you have so much power within yourself, you were not about to let that happen. I have to sneeze. Thank you. And now they're spinning a whole different narrative on why they have such a problem with you. They're writing it off as it being this thing. Like maybe they're saying that you're disrespectful, or maybe they're saying that it's whatever the case is. But the reality is they are just not willing to face that they have done things to offend you, and your response and reaction to them and your energy towards them says a lot about how they have been treating you. So because they don't want to face how they have treated you, they cannot fully accept how you feel about them right now. You've created some distance because that is what they deserve, and they cannot accept that because they don't want to accept what they have done to you. Thus, they can't understand why you created distance. Now, they may have other people around them deceived and manipulated and fooled. Other people may believe what they are saying, even these false allegations, even these lies about you, even them, spinning the whole narrative, making you out to be the main culprit, the bad guy, while they are the complete victim. They have other people fooled and sucked into like their vortex. They have people wrapped around their finger because their story has been very convincing, and also what they have been using to their advantage is the fact that they have been trying to hold your past against you and trying to make it seem like you are still who you are in the past in the present. Or they're bringing up your past in order to justify how they feel about you in the present, when that really has nothing to do with what's going on here. They because clearly the things that you have done in the past that have brought up are things that you don't even do anymore. It's things that you have outgrown, but yet they're trying to make it seem like you have not, to justify their actions. It's like, you remember off of Madea Goes to Jail, how you know Linda, she brought up all of this old stuff from Candy's files and made her go to jail for 17 years because she patented her charges. That's what they're doing in the court of spiritual law right here. What they're doing is like, it's like spiritual court, and they are patenting your charges and your case against you by bringing up old stuff from the past to make you seem like you're this horrible person when you have outgrown all of that. And the only thing that we have to focus on here is what's happening here, because all of that has been forgiven, has been letting go. Those cycles have ended. They're not even here anymore, and they don't play any role or relevance into this situation, because the principles in this situation currently are totally different than the principles in the other situation. Okay, I have this sports reference. You know how in basketball, when it's college, how they're playing in halves, but when it's professional, it's in four quarters, and you see how both can't exist in the same time, and it's there split up that way for a reason. It's like they're trying to compare college level basketball with professional level basketball when the whole game setup is totally different. So you cannot compare the two. You cannot have college existing in like in NBA. I was going to say NFL, sorry. I'm not a big sports fan, but that's just what God told me to reference, because I'm talking to men here, okay? And women, of course. The reality is that stuff in the past doesn't matter, but they're trying to make it matter so that they can feel justified for how they feel about you. Instead of them just being straight up and being just real about and facing the envy that they have towards you and how they're just projecting all of their own insecurities onto you, instead of them just being real with themselves, they'd rather just put on this whole facade and act like you're the problem because of X, Y, and Z.